Christ is risen. Christos anesti. Christos voskreси. Alithos anesti vaistinu voskreси. Truly, he is risen. Hello, everyone, and God bless. This is Father Michael, with a quick announcement for Living Orthodox. So, as some of you might have seen, I have a new community post up with a thumbnail to preview what is coming up on the channel. So I am going to be continuing with my episodic releases. I'm trying to get things more consistent. As many of you know, if you've been keeping up with the channel, I'm actually back in school right now. I'm taking my secular education in a field that will allow me to work with people with disabilities, and doing something that, for one, I feel really called to do with helping them, and of course, to be able to provide for my family. The GoFundMe, despite me not wanting to extend it, I was expecting another solution, which for the people involved, I'm going to keep, under wraps and private. But the solution I was hoping that was going to pan out with the time frame that I had in mind initially when I put up the GoFundMe didn't work out. There's various factors why it couldn't work out. One of the main ones being location and just the ability to move my family, which is something I don't possess the ability to do right now. So that said, with how things were going, it just wasn't beneficial for my family and I. It wasn't really going to pan out where it was going to pay enough to be able to support us, and especially for the expenses that would incur with the long distance travel, which is a shame, because I really was in love with the arrangement that would have come about. But God's will is always for what is best for everyone involved, and so there's a lot of comfort to take in that. So the big news is that Subdeacon Nectarius, who is a good friend of mine and a fellow team member with Orthodox Ethos, has started up a really, really good website called orthodoxtraditionalist.com. Check it out. There's a lot of really important articles on there. It's research-based. He is a master's. He has his master's in history, so everything's very thoroughly researched. Everything's really clearly laid out. He designs quality websites and just does an incredible job. He also was the one who designed the Orthodox Ethos website. So if you love the Orthodox Ethos website, which I'm sure many of you do, then you'll love his new website, orthodoxtraditionalist.com. And so he and I were, of course, discussing some of the events that have been going on. We're getting to the point where, there's some not so subtle issues happening. We had a major Orthodox personality online, Sister Vasa, who accepted the blessing of the Pope, which is in direct violation of the apostolic canons. And more than anything, this further confuses people who might be watching her content, looking to come from Catholicism to Orthodoxy. And it also confuses the Orthodox faithful. There are some people who are within the minor clergy, and I'm pretty sure even some major clerics, who are really confused as to how we view the Catholic Church. We still see them as graceless. And if you are Roman Catholic, I'm not saying this to be offensive or mean. I'm saying this to be truthful. And what's really more lacking in love, despite what the ecumenists will say, is to lie for the sake of love. That's not real love. When you love someone, you don't lie to them. And so we're going to be talking about that issue, about all the implications and impacts this has, what's wrong with the picture, and what maybe should be the response to it, or what we feel would be a good response to it. Of course, these are things you also got to discuss with your priest, with your spiritual father. And more than anything, this is something you really, when dealing with anything involving our faith on the internet with orthodoxy, you have to pray. You have to pray and ask God for discernment, or to bring people into your lives who have the gifts that you lack, such as discernment. Speak with monastics, speak with well-experienced spiritual fathers, speak with priests who are involved in what they do with their ministry and who care. Again, great resources in Father Josiah Trenum, Father Peter Hears in Orthodox Ethos, Father Cosmos at Orthodox Talks. For book reviews, there's Orthodox Review. You'll get in-depth dives into those, because those are important materials as well that go into forming our mindset as Orthodox Christians. But we also have the issue where and I've been avoiding dropping names, but where Benjamin Cabe went onto onto a very anti-Orthodox Catholic channel that's meant for oftentimes engaging in polemics against Orthodox and dissuading Catholics from becoming Orthodox. And so if there was any Catholic sitting on the fence who saw that, that could have confused them. And, he thinks he's doing the right thing. We have to remember this, that he's still a member of the Orthodox Church. We still must have Christ-like love towards him, even if we disagree with him and others and what they do and say. And no one should be going and fighting with him, attacking him, calling him names. Don't engage in that. Be better than that. That kind of slander and rhetoric is something we do not need to engage in. We need to be above that. But we can call a spade, and we can say, look, this person is saying things and doing things that is problematic, that is damaging. He claims people like Father Peter are problematic. I know he's had issues with things I've said. I don't care that he has issues with what I said. I'll ignore it till the nth degree. But when it starts bleeding into the area of having an impact on confusing the faithful, confusing Orthodox Christians, confusing potential converts, then I'm going to speak up. And I'm going to say, no, this isn't right. And so this is probably something else we're going to talk about. So if you're interested in these discussions and kind of a no holds barred approach, of course, all done with a proper Orthodox approach to things, with Christ-like love, we will be disseminating some of these issues. We will be talking about a lot of these hardline issues in the church, because even though we shouldn't become obsessed with them and hyper-focus on them, we still should not be ignorant, because ignorance is going to breed all sorts of problems. It's going to cause problems in our spiritual life. It's going to cause problems when we try to share our faith with others. And if we are ignorant to these things and we see blatant attempts to actually turn people away from the church, then we got to address those issues. We have to address these problems. And so addressing the issue without attacking the person should always be our goals as Orthodox Christians. A lot of the time you'll see these people who are on the more humanistic side saying, oh, love is more important than truth, but that's utter garbage. If one has proper love, like I said earlier, one is going to tell the truth. And we should never lie to someone who we are looking to enter into a relationship with, who we are in a relationship with, whether that's, marital, whether that is, something like a friendship, whether it's familial, or whether it's on a broader spiritual family level, such as the church. We should not be lying to one another. And so when we say that, it's more important to express love, but that love comes in a form of a vague semi-acceptance of things, then it blurs the lines, it confuses things. And this person ultimately is not going to know where they stand with you, with the church, with what we believe. And that's just going to breed contempt towards who the church is centered on, Christ. And so we have to be careful that our actions, our words, whether we're defending tradition or whether we're antithetical towards it, if we call ourselves Christians, our focus should be on highlighting Christ and should be living as Christ. And that's even why I titled my channel Living Orthodox, because the whole thing that I'm trying to communicate as best as I can to my own limited abilities and my own limited capability as still a human being, is how to live that life in Christ. So again, please tune into this new podcast that we're starting. I'm really confident that there's going to be a lot of fruitful discussion. I've seen a lot of requests to get certain guests on here. I am going to try my best. My channel is pretty small time still, but thanks to you guys, we are nearing 3,000 subscribers. So please hit the like, share, and subscribe button, comment. And again, just keep the comments respectful. Disrespectful, immature comments, I'm going to delete them. If there's people in there commenting and saying disparaging things about detractors to Father Peter, to anyone, even though I don't agree with them, I won't tolerate that level of disrespect for them, because that is, again, antithetical to who we are as Christians. So if you're typing in something and you think this is something you would be ashamed to show to your spiritual father, then you probably shouldn't say it. That's my advice on that matter. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this quick announcement. And again, I will be sharing much more details with you guys as time goes on. I am extending the GoFundMe, as I said. I'm going to do a full proper extension of it after my daughter's baptism on Saturday. That's finally happening. My wife is pretty much well fully healed from her injuries. I'm certainly doing better on the end of my health. Keep praying for me because my hernia surgery is actually not going to be to the winter. That's just the best time to do it in terms of school and everything else. And I'm just not wanting to miss out on all the wonderful feasts coming up over the summer and the next few months as a priest. And I'm just not ready to put myself in that position where I'm totally slowed down yet. So pray for me, pray for my family, pray for yourselves. And always, always remember that in everything you do, to choose the virtuous path, to choose to do as Christ would do, to live as Christ, and let him shine through you. May God bless you all, and have a wonderful night.